All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3. What's so funny?
Could you sound a little more excited?
I know.
Could you
that's
sound
what
a
I was
little more
like.
excited?
No, man. Let's get this show on the road. We got problems here. Let's get some energy, too. Like last couple episodes, you got no energy. Here we go.
He was depressed in the last one after they lost.
Oh, yeah, because I was pissed.
Welcome to the Matter of Stats.
We lost by 27 points. Now I'm supposed to come on happy?
Billy,
What's up?
are you prepared?
I'm as prepared as I normally am.
Wrong answer. Wrong answer.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Matter of Stats podcast. Check us out all together, more or less, not in the same room, but it looks like we're in the same room. Modern technology. Fellas, how's it going?
Happy Taco Tuesday. You
Look
see
at
that little
that.
holiday sweater I got for you there, Anthony?
Holiday edition of Taco Tuesday.
That's right. That's right. I know that you'd probably like it to be Trade Machine Tuesday, but you still got another month or two for that. So I know we're gonna get that for you.
Got to wait till December 15th, right? Can't trade for anybody till we want to December 15th.
Yeah.
Would you get that Del Taco from all the tacos you get from there? Was that your reward?
Yeah, did you buy that with do you get like points for tacos, and that was your
that was his rewards points.
That's what we're gonna go with. My rewards points. Redeem me this nice holiday taco sweater.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, before we dive into this week's topics, of course, we want to thank everybody for listening to the Matter of Stats podcast and remind you guys to continue to check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. Check out all our social media outlets and our YouTube page, hopefully, so you can watch this video. Right, gentlemen?
That's right. I don't think my sounds are set up. Nope. Okay, hold on.
Very well.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
There we go. All right, you're good.
Okay. All right. Now we're back in business.
That's right.
Tacos and all. All right. So, a couple topics this week, like usual, but of course, we'll start off with our little weekly rewind, if you will. Since last week, the Lakers played a couple of games. They had they concluded their road trip with I'm going to say, disappointing loss to the Atlanta Hawks in overtime. Nice high-scoring affair, right? Everybody scored over 130 points, so not a lot of defense being played in that one. Despite the good games from LeBron and Anthony Davis, the Lakers' defense continues to be a problem. I think they gave up like almost 20 points in overtime, which that's a lot of points to give up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a fun game, though. It was a fun game. I like those fun.
I know you like those. I know you like those fun back and forth. I like the game. It's fun when we win. Anything else?
Well, we would have won, but your boy LeBron wants to chuck up threes early in the shot clock. With 25 seconds left in regulation. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, continue on, dude.
The whole final minute or so of that game was a little bit of a cluster. With the turnover and then the jump ball mishap, and then of course the breakdown defensively where AD and Gabe can't figure out who's going to switch, who's not going to switch, and let's just leave the best shooter on the court wide open. Why not, right? What's he going to do?
This whole season's been a cluster so far. So what's the difference?
But hey, in typical Laker fashion, right? We always like to believe that the grass is suddenly greener, and they come home. They beat the lowly Blazers without LeBron, and all is well, right? The Lakers are back in business. Back in business. They beat the Blazers. Woo! What a victory without LeBron. D'Lo looked good. AD looked good. Even Rui had a nice game. Everything's perfect.
Well, to their credit, the Blazers could have come out looking like the All-Star West. The way the Lakers love to play, below 500 teams.
Well, let's not forget it was a 4-point game at the start of the fourth quarter or something, right? It's not like the final score made it look like we kick their butts the whole game, but that was not the case at all. But, you know, it is what it is. The Lakers, for the most part this year, you know, kind of to Billy's point, they're beating the bad teams and losing to the good ones. That's kind of been the MO of this team. And, you know, maybe that's what's to be expected of this roster, right? We kind of knew the flaws, the concerns, the injuries at the start of the season. Nothing's changed. And, you know, here we are above 500 in that lower bottom of the West, you know, between the 6 and 10 range. And I think that's kind of the expectation, but maybe it'll turn around. Maybe the injuries will solve some problems. Maybe, you know, Bronny will have a breakthrough, save the day. Quincy Olivario put on his Steph Curry Under Armour deal shoes and lead us to a championship.
You never know, man. You never know.
Now you're living in Kobe's world.
He's hoping, man. He's hoping because, you know, Lord knows his 2K roster's hurting. So we know he needs a miracle, dude. We know he needs a miracle.
Well, my Lakers 2K roster looks a little different than the Lakers actual roster, but that's neither here nor there.
Because you probably trade every week, but you know.
Well, I mean, I do what I would like to see happen. You know, obviously it's not like
who's on your team right now. Real quick,
like
pop quiz.
USA.
Who's on your team?
I have Finney Smith. I traded for Finney Smith. I traded for Vucevic.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I traded for Dyson Daniels, Vucevic, and Finney Smith.
And in the last game that you played, what was the score?
Oh, I don't know. I think I won by 30. I don't know. That's not the point. You're missing the point. You're missing the point.
I just love that you just put these guys together that you want, and then miraculously the game's like 137 to like 29 or something.
No, it doesn't matter. I can win with
expecting
the
it to be like that in real life, and when it doesn't happen, you know,
I guarantee you none of those guys even touch the ball.
The point is I put a roster together that is very capable, and more importantly, a realistic roster that the Lakers could actually put together this year via some trades after December 15th.
I'm sorry, those three players are not going to win us a championship.
Maybe not, but this group ain't going to win it either. So what difference does it make, right?
So you're just trading just to trade.
No,
at this point,
it's all about what you believe, right? And you know, with that being said, we know where this Laker team sits. We know their deficiencies defensively. We know their strength, so to speak, is on the offensive end. We know LeBron's old. We know Anthony Davis, you know, is in his prime, but he has his injury concerns. The Lakers bench is terrible. The defense is terrible. There's injuries. There's guys that don't fit. So a lot of the chatter, understandably, from last week, Billy, right, was, are we playing LeBron too much? Does he need a rest? Does he not need a rest? You know, he got his rest day on Sunday. Great. You know, Lakers were able to sneak out a win. But now you start to look at, we're getting closer to Christmas. We're getting through that first quarter of the season. The December 15th deadline where players who signed contracts in the offseason now become trade eligible. And now starts the yearly merry-go-round question of what will the Lakers do? What should they do? And it brings us to our topic of the night. If, you know, you're running this team, what do you do? What do you do, Code? What do you do, Billy? Do you kind of make the trades necessary to try to win right now, this year, improve this team, try to win a championship this season with LeBron and AD? Or do you blow it all up? Fire everybody, trade everybody. Tell LeBron, where do you want to go? AD, where do you want to go? You want to go together? You want to go different places? You want to get a private jet? We'll send you wherever you want. We're going to blow this whole baby up and start over.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get much for LeBron, to be honest. And AD, I think, is someone we can build around. He still has another, 4 years or so on his contract, and he's still, is he only 30, 31? So
31.
Yeah, so AD's still good. LeBron, you're not going to get much for him at age 40. And if you're able to somehow trade some of these guys and get better pieces than what we have, you need to get at least 2 or 3 guys to upgrade the roster. If not, then you're just looking at another play-in first round knockout. And if we even get to that point, the way we look right now, we can't even make the playoffs, let alone the play-in. So, I say trade the front office.
Trade the front office.
I mean, just wipe out the front office. Let LeBron play out the year and forget about him opting in next year and just start trying to build around Davis and try to make some deals in the offseason. Because right now, I don't really see any 1 or 2 players that's going to really take us to that next level. And for that to happen, you'd have to trade, a buttload, and then you're going to lose some of the guys we have that we'd like to keep. So either way, we're kind of in a lose-lose situation right now, in my opinion.
I kind of like the little news cycle of the, today where we had what Jimmy Butler was thrown out there, Joel Embiid was thrown out there, Kendrick's talking about getting rid of LeBron, and Bronny can go with them, and Rich Paul, he ain't gonna stand in the way, man. I loved everything I was here today. Just blow it all up, Anthony. I know
that's
of course.
That's all a bunch of clickbait, man. Butler ain't coming here. Joel Embiid ain't coming here. What's Joel Embiid gonna do? Come here and play 20 games? Come on.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, at this point, like I said, we've tried it a couple of different ways already. We tried it Anthony's way with the superstars, didn't work. We tried it Billy's way with the continuity, didn't work. Guys, we haven't tried the 3-ball brother way, man. I say we just do the 3-ball.
Oh God, no. And don't say my way was continuity.
Yeah,
you're all in on the continuity. So
you were saying
put LeVar on the coaching staff.
Billy, what did he say at the start of the year? We got everything we need to win a championship.
He was all, we got continuity.
We don't need nothing. We got the roster that can win it all.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't expect players to be sitting out for 2 years, and Vando could go 2 at this point. Like, I'm done defending that guy as well. But I wouldn't mind seeing a nice little rebuild around, AD, Rui, D'Lo, a nice little core right there. We saw a little flash, the other night. Yeah.
Well, you can't just.
Hey, think about it like this too, Anthony. Think about it like this. You remember when we first got D'Lo, right? Russ was gone. We got D'Lo pretty much at the trade deadline, I think, if not at the trade deadline.
It was, like 2 days before, yeah.
And then LeBron, he missed a stretch of games once we got D'Lo, which I think was kind of the plan, because it was like, okay, give LeBron a break, let these new guys kind of come in. And what happened? D'Lo was playing pretty well. We all kind of wondered, how would LeBron fit back in, since D'Lo's the kind of guy that really needs the ball in his hand, and he takes command of the team essentially. And we saw that against Portland. Do you think that's any coincidence that he had his best game of the season this year without LeBron? So I don't know, just a little food for thought. A little AD D'Lo Rui build might not be bad, but at this point, I don't know. Obviously there's probably zero chance that we're going to blow this whole thing up.
You can't blow it up mid-season.
And then the whole in theory makes sense to kind of tweak and, send out a couple guys, get a couple pieces that could maybe make us contenders. But when has Rob really done that over the last couple seasons, So don't want to get your hopes up, Anthony, but I don't know, man. At this point, I don't even know. And like Billy says, do those guys even make a difference? What happens if we get rid of a guy or two, and then, again, the Russ thing, the whole idea was to get rid of Russ because he just was clogging the paint. AD and LeBron weren't able to operate. Then you get a guy like D'Lo who can shoot the heck out of the 3, is often a streaky player, but plays almost no defense. So then that's a problem, So it's you kind of you plug one hole, and then you open another one. So I don't know. We can't. And then who's to say we get Dorian Finney-Smith or whoever you want to bring, and then they're injured for a year. It's I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. It's a lot of frustration going on for me personally, anyway, with this team. So
yeah, there was all that Brandon Ingram talk, and then now he's hurt. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I think I saw that the Lakers were nixing that deal anyways. They had 0 interest. I just saw that yesterday. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard.
Yeah. Well, it could be. I mean, it's easy to say that once he's hurt. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even see that he got hurt, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He got hurt the other night.
Yeah, a couple days ago.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you're definitely right. It is frustrating. But I mean, part of what you're saying is when you're talking about you fill one hole, but it creates another one. And I think that's because there isn't that balance on this team. There's a lack of size. There's a lack of defense. There's a lack of, athleticism at the wing position. So you don't have that balance. The team is overloaded with guards. It's built primarily on offense. So I think that's a big part of it. But there's two ways to look at this. If LeBron, like your boy, Kendrick Perkins was suggesting, if he was to say, I want to go somewhere else, and you're forced to entertain the wishes of LeBron James and trade him somewhere, that's one thing. But to Billy's point, trading LeBron, in my opinion, is probably just going to bring you a bigger problem than you already have. Because, like Billy said, it's almost better for the Lakers just to let him leave and retire or finish, play one more year somewhere, wherever he wants, if he thinks he can try to win a championship, one last hurrah, than it is to take back contracts. Because here's the problem. The salary cap's $140 million. Lakers right now are $48 million over the cap. So given the fact that like Billy said, no one's going to pony up high-priced talent for a 40-year-old LeBron. But even in theory, if they wanted to, you're going to have to take back, salary, because nobody is $49 million under the cap to just take him. Wherever you trade him, you're probably going to have to take back salary that you don't want. So you can't even properly rebuild, because you're going to have to take back guys that probably have 2-3 years left on their contracts to make up that, $49 million. Whereas if you just didn't do anything, hypothetically, punted on the season, which I'm not suggesting we would do. I would. I'm not a fan of the rebuild because I just don't think it works. I think in theory, people think it works, but it very rarely plays out the way you actually intend it to, right? Like, look at the Sixers, look at even OKC. People want to brag about OKC, but all these draft
like 100
picks,
first-round picks.
Yeah, but all these draft picks that they accumulated up until now, they haven't gotten. I mean, Holmgren's hurt. They haven't. The best player on the team is the only guy they traded for. Everybody else, all the draft picks, the one trade they made, he's the best player on the team in SGA. So my point is, the rebuild doesn't always work like you think it's going to work. But getting back to the Lakers for a second, if LeBron decides he's going to retire and D'Lo is a free agent, just that, if the Lakers did nothing else, that would put them about $19 million under the cap, give or take. And then the other dead weight, the Christian Wood, the Hayes, Reddish, their $8 million worth of wasted salary also comes off the books. So now at least you're under the cap in theory, and you have a little bit of flexibility or wiggle room to try to do something. Plus, like you said, Kobe, then it makes it easier if you want to dump Vanderbilt, right? Because then you can take something back in return that maybe you want, versus taking guys back that you don't want, but you have to, because you have to be able to fit in whatever team is going to take LeBron's $49 million. So, but then you look at the West, and Billy, you're right. Valanciunas or Vucevic or Dorian Finney-Smith or Cam Johnson, whatever, right? None of these guys on the surface are game changers. They're not going to turn a team, from the 10th seed to the best team in the West overnight. But the West is so wide open. I honestly, even right now, the Lakers are only like 3 games out of the number 2 seed or something like that, because that's how close all these teams are in the Western Conference. So nobody's out of it. But more importantly, I don't think there's any one team that can't beat another team. So you're right, Billy. These guys aren't game changers. But if the Lakers address the deficiency, got a couple wings that could defend, a little bit of shooting, another big, you can't tell me that in a 7-game series, they couldn't beat Dallas. They couldn't beat Minnesota. They could. I mean, they could lose just as easily, but you can't tell me there's no chance that they can't beat any one of these teams, because all these teams are pretty comparable, in my opinion.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need at least 2 or 3 guys, but how many?
Oh, yeah.
How many guys that we already have do we have to give up to get these guys? And do we may have to give up key pieces that we don't want to give up, and then are you just swapping to swap? Because then you're giving up key guys. Say you give up, Reeves, D'Lo, and people are gonna want Rui. Those are probably the 3 higher priced guys that are higher, tier guys that we have on our team. They're gonna want them. You're just gonna swap them out for these other guys, and then what? You're still stuck in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd have to give up. It depends on the deal. Like,
I'm just saying, for example, right? Those are probably the top 3 guys that we have that are,
well, if you wanted to get like Valanciunas or Dorian Finney-Smith or something like that, you could do that with some combination of D'Lo, Vincent, and Vanderbilt. Like, you wouldn't have to give up the whole bag.
Ain't no one gonna want Vanderbilt right now.
Well, I'm just saying you could make it work without gutting the team. To your point.
Yeah, and again, we can talk about trades until we're blue in the face, and mix and match and do all the great stuff on paper, but this team also needs to make sure that they kind of keep their morale and their aura and attitudes in check, because this team came out the gates firing on all cylinders, which is expected from most teams. Anthony, you've said it, like, season starts and everybody's in good spirits and high hopes, but this team got off to an exceptionally good start, going whatever it was 3-1, and then looking like we were unbeatable. JJ was the answer, and everyone was high off that. And then we lose a couple games, and then we go on that crazy road trip, and now all of a sudden it's doom and gloom again. And I don't even feel like, obviously with the win in Portland, doesn't really feel like we've kind of recouped that early season energy. So again, like JJ said, we got to make sure that this team doesn't splinter off to the point where no matter who we bring in, it's the point of no return. We don't want that. So I would say we want to kind of hope that doesn't happen as well.
Yeah. Well, and of course you can't control injuries, right? And all you can do is build a team on paper. Really. I mean, that's all any team does, right? You make the moves in the offseason that you think are going to work, and then you hope that they stay healthy, and you hope that they are able to, kind of coexist and end up, working together in a cohesive unit that equates to winning. But obviously it doesn't always work out that way. But I still think there's opportunity for this team if they could make, like Billy said, a couple of moves. That definitely need one move is not going to change anything. They need a couple of moves. But the biggest problem too is what the Lakers need is what everybody needs, right? This whole league is built on wings and shooting.
Wings.
Yeah. So it's not just the Lakers that need it. It's the teams that have them don't want to give them up, and the teams that don't have them, are all shopping. Basically, they're shopping at the same store. So that's the other problem too, is getting these type of players when they're just not available, right? No one wants to give those guys up.
Yeah.
So that's another issue. And then of course, with these new rules, it makes it a lot more difficult to make, big swing trades, because you can't trade, 4-for-1s and that kind of stuff. So
remember Rob Palenka said it's very hard.
Well, yeah, he set the table early so that, when we were here in December and we sucked, he could be like, "Hey, I told you guys."
I told you it's very hard.
Hey, I don't know. I just saw a funny meme right now on IG before we jumped on the pod that Darvin Ham and Torian Prince are 12-0 in cup play, so maybe
Torian Prince lead the league in 3-point shooting?
Yeah, he's the greatest now, man.
Hey, but maybe you're right. Like you said, D'Lo looks great with the ball in his hands. He just needs the guys to get out of his way. So let's trade D'Lo somewhere. Maybe he'll lead the league in assists.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. Oh,
maybe he can go play with Torian.
Didn't they already play together? They're already on Minnesota together, huh? Weren't they?
Were they one season together? Maybe. I mean, obviously, they played together last year. The trio could be back together. Him and his buddy Darvin Ham.
I'm telling you, man, until this front office is revamped, we're doomed.
Well, and that's just it too. It's like I've seen a lot of people on social media say, like, you want to blow it up and trust that this front office is going to handle a rebuild any better than they've handled LeBron and AD. So that's an argument, for another day, I suppose. But
maybe Magic was right in leaving. Maybe,
don't forget, this front office got a championship. Don't forget.
I know, and it seems to have been downhill ever since. Although I do still contest that we would have won it in 2021 if AD wouldn't have gotten hurt. That's just my opinion. Yeah. I think that team was really good.
I just find it interesting that all of a sudden AD can miraculously play 150 out of the last 160 games. How's that possible? I also find it miraculous that Russ never misses any games. Mikal Bridges is an Iron Man, plays 7,000 games in a row without any injuries.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, but it's one thing to play, but are you playing well?
I just think
just because you're out there every night, playing well.
Hot take. I just think that after a couple seasons of doing the whole I'm going to sit out, I'm going to rest, Lakers Nation don't play that, and I think that AD finally maybe got the message and was like, I'm tired of these Laker fans just on my case all the time about missing games. So maybe I'll just play through it. Maybe I'll just play through it. So
it's fair. Well, yeah. now they got guys like Vando to
take his spot,
to complain about. And
that's why we're saying, you know what? He can go. I'm done with Vando, honestly. So
yeah, well, he could be. You never know. He could be one of those casualties that has to go because his.
But again, we're in that catch-22 because it's like, who's gonna want him?
Yeah. Well, but it's just like anything else. If he's healthy, he does have a lot of value, but that's the rub, right? If he can get on the court, $11 million a year isn't a bad contract if he can get on the court. What is he, 26, 27? Still pretty young, right?
Who knows,
I mean, if he has a good recovery,
he's 25. He's 25 years old.
He had just had double foot surgery and now has fluid in the knee, dude. I don't like the way none of that sounds.
I 100% agree, but I'm just saying he is 25 years old and was very valuable when he was on the court. So you never know.
All right,
man. Get us out of here, dude.
All right, but
end us on that note.
Well, I'm just saying. All right, well, we'll see what happens this
weekend. We did that at the same time.
Yeah. So the Lakers have a few days off here this week, and then they go to Minnesota. So that's the bonus for not making the
how many times have we played Minnesota, man? What is that, 7 times already that we played these guys?
It's like the third time this season, second time in just over a week, right?
Man. Yeah, they got us
playing them every other week.
Yeah, it feels like it, but it is what it is. Maybe they'll get the win this time. So
all right, man,
we'll
stop
see.
delaying this, man. Let's go.
We'll see. Oh, Billy's got places to be. Sorry, everybody. Billy ain't got time. He's got stuff to do.
All right, man. Let's do this.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. And we hope you check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. Check out all our social media outlets. Check out this episode on our YouTube page. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
I'm out of stats. podcast.